Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ameitha Pratiwi. I'm from University of Bengkulu, and I'm as the presenter of the first international conference on the teaching of English and literature. And today, I would like to present an article about an analysis of metaphoric expression found in Rihanna's song lyric. Chapter 1, Introduction, Background. The metaphor is not a common language, or it is not a literal language. In order to grasp the implied meaning of the metaphor, it is required a special attention by listeners or readers. Some of the listeners and readers still do not understand the use of metaphor. And there are two research questions in this research. First, what are the dominant metaphors found in Rihanna's song lyric? And the second, how are metaphors used in Rihanna's song lyric? And then the limitation of research. The limitation of this research focused on 6 songs of Rihanna in her album. And then the significance of study. The researcher hoped that the result of this research will give a new knowledge to the writer and reader, which can increase the science of linguistics field, especially in metaphor. And then Chapter 2, Literature Review. The study used crystal theory 1999 of the major theory to classify the types of metaphor from Rihanna's song lyric. There are 4 types. First, conceptual metaphor. Second, poetic metaphor. Third, mixed metaphor. Fourth, conventional metaphor. Chapter 3, Methodology. Research design. Methodologies which are applied in this research are both quantitative and qualitative methods. And research instrument. Instrument of the research is documentation. Technique of collecting data. Search the song file of Rihanna in MP3 format. Download song file, listen to the song lyric one by one, and write down song lyric and compare to the lyric, which are provided by reliable sites in the internet. And the last, analyze the data. And then the techniques of analyzing the data. Identification. After collecting the data, the writer identifies the data, which focus on identifying the metaphor as the subject matter of this content analysis. And then the data analysis. After identifying the metaphor, the writer analyzes the data of metaphor based on Crystal's theory. And then the research procedures. There are some procedures in the research as follows. First, read lyric of Rihanna's song carefully. Underline the sentence or phrase which contain metaphor. Selecting and classifying the sentence and phrase. Classifying the sentence or phrase to every types of metaphor. And making the description of the types and meaning of metaphor. And last, drawing the conclusion according to the result. And then Chapter 4, Result and Discussion. Result. The frequency of metaphor in Rihanna's song. Table point 1. The frequency of metaphor used in the song. There are 4 types of metaphor, and totally we found 41 metaphor in the song. 5 conceptual metaphor, 18 poetic metaphor, 6 mixed metaphor, and 12 conventional metaphor. And then the distribution of metaphor in the song. Table point 2. The frequency of metaphor used in the song. There are 4 types of metaphor found most in the 30 song, and then the song only use 3 or 2 metaphor. For the first song, we found that 2 conceptual metaphor, 1 poetic metaphor, 1 mixed metaphor, 4 conventional metaphor. And the song 2, we found that there are 1 conceptual metaphor, 2 poetic metaphor, 1 mixed metaphor, and 1 conventional metaphor. And the third song, we found that there are 1 conceptual metaphor, 5 poetic metaphor, 2 mixed metaphor, 3 conventional metaphor. And in the fourth song, we found that there are 2 poetic metaphor and then 1 conventional metaphor. And in the fifth song, we found that there are 5 poetic metaphor, 2 mixed metaphor, 1 conventional metaphor. And the last song, we found that there are 1 conceptual metaphor, 3 poetic metaphor, 2 conventional metaphor. And in the discussion, there are 2 most dominant metaphors found in the song of Rihanna. They are poetic metaphor and conventional metaphor. There are metaphor that appears in one song of each poetic metaphor. There are 3 songs use all metaphors, and metaphor used by the songwriter to express their feeling and thought. And Chapter 5, Conclusion and Discussion. Conclusion. There are two most dominant metaphors. There are poetic metaphor and confessional metaphor found in the song. It is because the lyric of the song express more about emotion or feeling and the situation or condition as in reality. And there are two types of metaphor appears in all songs of Rihanna. There are poetic metaphor and confessional metaphor. And the last is there are three songs that use all metaphor. These are Cry, Diamond, and Like the Way You Lie. And suggestion, there are two suggestions in this research. First, the writer suggests to further study to analyze metaphor in other objects to get and understand more about metaphor. Furthermore, this paper has contribution toward English language teaching. First, the teacher can use the song as media in learning and teaching process, especially in reading and listening lesson. And the teacher can use metaphor in teaching to make the class more interesting. And metaphor can enhance student knowledge in literature through applying the song lyric. And the last metaphor can enhance student vocabulary and imagination on using words. Okay, that's all my presentation today. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.